Growing up, I always believed in the saying, family is forever. I thought that no matter what happened, my family would be the one constant, the anchor in the unpredictable sea of life. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? What life with its cruel sense of humor often has other plans. It has a way of taking what you hold dearest and showing you just how fragile everything is. By the time I was 22, my world had shattered. The foundation I had built my entire life on crumbled into dust. It started with a phone call, the kind that steals the air from your lungs and leaves you gasping. My parents, the two people who were my entire universe, were gone in a sudden, senseless accident. The silence they left behind was deafening. It filled every corner of our home, a constant, painful reminder of what I had lost. Shortly after, my siblings, each grappling with their own grief, decided to move away. They needed a fresh start, a new place where the memories didn't haunt them at every turn. I understood, I really did, but it felt like another piece of my heart was being torn away. We promised to stay in touch, to call, to visit. But distance has a way of stretching more than just miles. It stretches relationships until they become thin and brittle. The calls became less frequent, the messages shorter, until we were just names on each other's contact lists. Friends, the ones I thought would be my chosen family, also began to drift. Life pulls people in different directions. New jobs, new relationships, new cities. They had their own lives to live, and my grief was a heavy burden, a storm cloud they didn't know how to navigate. I don't blame them. How can you explain a void that deep to someone who hasn't felt it? So, I watched them go, one by one, until I was left standing alone in the wreckage of my past. My life became a series of empty rooms and even emptier streets. I'd wander through the house, tracing the outlines of where furniture used to be, my footsteps echoing in the silence. I'd walk through crowded city streets, feeling completely invisible, a ghost among the living. Every day felt heavier than the one before, a suffocating weight of loneliness pressing down on me. I started to wonder if I was meant to be alone. Had I used up all my chances for love and connection? The thought was terrifying. Could anyone ever truly care about me again? The question echoed in my mind, a relentless drumbeat of despair. Then came a particularly bleak evening. Rain was pouring down, washing the city in shades of gray that matched my mood perfectly. I had spent the day aimlessly walking, trying to escape the four walls of my empty house, only to find that the loneliness followed me wherever I went. Defeated, I found myself on a park bench, just sitting there, watching the raindrops splatter against the dark pavement. Each drop seemed to represent a tear I could no longer cry. That's when I saw him, an older man sitting at the other end of the bench. He was just a silhouette against the dim park lights, quiet and unassuming. He didn't look like the kind of person who would approach a stranger, especially not a sad, drenched one like me. But then, he did. He moved closer, not in a way that felt intrusive, but with a gentle, hesitant shuffle. He had a kind face, etched with the lines of a life fully lived, and when he smiled, it was soft and genuine. Without a word, he held out a sandwich, wrapped neatly in wax paper. "You look like you could use this," he said, his voice calm and steady. My first instinct was to refuse. I had built walls around myself, thick and high, to keep from getting hurt again. Accepting kindness felt like a risk, like opening a door I had fought so hard to keep shut. But there was something in his eyes deep, knowing sadness, mixed with a gentle warmth, that told me it was okay. It told me I was safe. So, I took the sandwich, and we started talking. At first, it was just small talk, the easy, impersonal kind. Talked about the rain, the changing seasons, the little absurdities of city life. He never pushed, never prodded for more than I was willing to give. But slowly, tentatively, we started sharing small pieces of ourselves. It was like we were two shipwreck survivors on a deserted island, finally finding another soul to talk to. He told me about his own life, about the wife he had loved for over 50 years and lost to a long illness. He spoke of the son he had lost touch with, the regrets he carried, and the mistakes he had made along the way. He didn't just share his stories. He shared his vulnerability. He showed me the cracks in his own heart, and in doing so, he made me feel like my own brokenness was not something to be ashamed of. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I felt a genuine connection. I wasn't just a charity case or a problem to be solved. I was a person, seen and understood by someone who knew the language of loss. That conversation on a rainy park bench was the first crack of light in a long, dark night. It was the beginning of everything. That one evening turned into many. Weeks became months. That kind stranger, whose name I eventually learned was Arthur, became my constant. He started showing up, quietly but consistently. He brought a small cake and a single candle on my birthday, a day I had been dreading more than any other. He'd call me just to share a funny story he'd heard, or to tell me about a bird he saw in the park. He celebrated my small victories with me alike when I finally got a job I liked, or when I managed to cook a decent meal for myself. More importantly, he stayed with me through the darkest nights. When the grief would wash over me in suffocating waves, when I felt like I was drowning, he would just sit with me, wouldn't offer empty platitudes or tell me it would all be okay. He would just be there, a quiet, solid presence that became my anchor in the storm. He taught me that sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is your time, your presence, your unwavering support. Through him, I started to understand something profound. Family isn't just about blood or shared last names. It's about love. It's about loyalty. It's about the people who choose to show up, who choose to stay when it would be easier to walk away. It's about the people who see you at your worst and still decide you're worth fighting for. He built a new foundation for me, one based not on obligation but on pure, unconditional kindness. Today, that crushing weight of loneliness is gone. It's been replaced by a quiet sense of peace and gratitude. The empty rooms in my house don't feel so empty anymore. They're filled with new memories of shared meals, of long conversations, of laughter. That stranger on a park bench didn't just give me a sandwich, it gave me back my life. He taught me that family can be found in the most unexpected places, and that hope has a way of appearing right when you've given up on it entirely. He became my grandfather, my friend, my mentor. He became my family, the only one I needed, and the one I will cherish and never, ever forget. So if you're out there feeling lost and alone, please don't give up. You never know when a stranger on a bench might offer you a sandwich and change your entire world. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more. You're not alone.